So, driverless cars. We've spoke about them a bit here on the motoringchronicle.com and how perceptions towards them are changing. More people than ever are now comfortable getting in a driverless car, and I imagine that trend will continue as, the technology improves and eventually they come onto the roads. They are, I think they're already rolled out in America. Like, there are some driverless cars that do pick you up and take you around in the States, which is something that I believe is coming into effect in the UK in the coming years as well. So let's have a look at this though, guys, because there's a lot of concerns when it comes to driverless cars, and I myself would not personally be comfortable going in one. That's just my opinion. Not everybody else shares that opinion clearly, but let's have a look at what the most common concerns are. Full article on the motoringchronicle.com. New research has revealed that just over half of motorists, at 57%, are concerned about the feeling of not being in control in self-driving cars. That is my biggest fear personally. The study, which was commissioned by a leading vehicle history check and valuation specialist, HPI again, doing it with these surveys, man, they're great with these. They polled the views of over 2,000 UK adults and found that the next biggest area of concern for under half of drivers, 49%, was the behaviour of other road users. Yeah, that's the other problem too. How does an AI car react to a tailgating BMW behind you? Because it happens on the roads, man. It happens a lot. The poll found that women are slightly more concerned about not feeling in control than men, 60% compared to 55%. This is why women live longer than us. 2 in 5 drivers, 41%, are concerned about being involved in an accident, and just over 3 in 10, 37.5%, said that the general state and conditions of UK roads worry them. That's another thing too. How do they deal with potholes? Probably not amazingly well, because this is why they work in America better than here, because their roads are arrow straight, they're very nice to drive on, they're very wide. Here in the UK, they're narrow, bumpy, potholy, and right now here in the UK, at least where I am anyway, very snowy and very icy, and with no gritters in sight to relieve the roads of the absolute ice rink that is out there at the moment. A third of motorists, at 37%, are concerned about how driverless cars interact with each other, and a third, 35%, worried that their lack of confidence in using the technology. Yeah, you gotta get used to things, of course. Faults and breakdowns are on the minds of 3 in 10 at 35%, and similarly, 35% have trust issues with driverless cars. 34% are deterred by the cost of a driverless car, assuming that they are more expensive than normal cars. Not being able to drive how they would like to is an issue for just 1 in 5, 20%, and sticking to speed limits is a worry for less than 1 in 10 at 9%. I mean, the way people drive, I don't think that many people are concerned about breaking the speed limit over here. Trust levels in driverless cars among young drivers at 18 to 26-year-olds are 2.5 times higher than they are among drivers at 55 to 64 and over 65s, which is 26, 13 and 10% respectively. In May 2024, the Automated Vehicle Act, the AV Act, was passed into law, providing the legal framework for driverless cars to operate on UK roads. The AV Act sets out all the safety standards, data security and insurance requirements, and could see driverless cars operational in the UK as soon as 2026. So yeah, some interesting stuff there when it comes to the shifting attitudes. This was a relatively recent survey as well, conducted independently in October 2024. I mean, for me, I've made my feelings on this clear. I am not a fan of that personally, and I don't think I would ever be comfortable with it. The technology is impressive, of course, what these cars can do, but I've seen some driverless cars try and operate in the real world. I think Marquez Brownlee, the tech YouTuber, he did one a while ago with a Tesla, and basically he took it around New Jersey, which is near New York in the US, and somewhere that kind of sounds a bit similar to Huddersfield and Leeds, where the drivers are just terrible and very aggressive, and basically the car just couldn't hack it. It could not do it. It was overcautious, which is better than being overly aggressive, of course, but in terms of being efficient and being as good as a person driving, it just couldn't do it. It really struggled with pulling out from junctions when cars were coming the other way. It was very, very cautious. He described it as his grandmother driving, which again is not the worst thing, but it's not ideal. So the technology has a long way to go, in my opinion, and 2026. I mean, I know it says as soon as, so it might not be then, but I feel like that's too soon. I mean, that's a year away now. That's only a year in the future. So for me, it's got a long way to go, and I personally would not get in a driverless car. I just don't like the idea of it. The control thing is a big thing for me. I don't trust the technology as well. agree with a lot of the opinions on there in terms of the negative aspects of it. I pretty much subscribe to all those. You know, and I just like the feeling of the fact that I'm making my own decisions and I'm in control of my destiny, effectively. I know it's a bit dramatic and that might sound a bit hyperbole, I'm saying that, of course, but that's effectively what you're doing. And if you're taking that control away and the car has an accident, the car does a speeding ticket, the car ain't going to pay for that. You're going to have to pay for that, aren't you? You're the person that chose to not drive in that car. So there's a lot of issues, and especially, yeah, and in the UK, our roads are terrible. They are, for the most part, barely fit for purpose. So allowing an AI car, I mean, I've got the safety things in my car, like the collision prevention things, and that sounds off quite a lot. And also the lane change thing as well. You know, in the UK, it's not uncommon to have to go to the right-hand side of the road to get down the road because there's loads of parked cars on the left, or if there's a little gap in between, you kind of have to straddle the line to get through on a lot of these local streets. On the motorway, it's different. On big A roads, it's different. That is a different conversation, and I think I would be more comfortable with that. But because of the high-speed nature of it, I also would not be comfortable. But that's just my opinion. What's yours, guys? Would you get in a driverless car? Would you prefer a driverless car? Would you like to try it and see for yourself? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, keep it subscribed to the motoringchronicle.com to see much more news on EVs, AVs, and any other kind of cars right here, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well. And we'll see you very soon, guys. Have a good one.